Welcome to Wednesday, the third day of August, 2022. Your day with the podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news content than any other news organization in the state. Sign up for their daily newsletter and check them out on their Facebook page. Well, less thunderstorm activity today. Yesterday, thunderstorm coverage picked up in some areas, especially across parts of Wyoming. Finally got some decent rain in some sections of northwestern Wyoming yesterday. And as we go through today and tomorrow, though, the air mass dries out some. It'll be a little cooler today. We get hot again Thursday and Friday, but the good news for the heat is it's going to get beaten down a bit over the weekend as a cool front coming out of Western Canada combined with another resurgence of the monsoon is going to lead to cooler temperatures and also a high probability for thunderstorm activity. And as we mentioned yesterday, flash flood potential Friday through Sunday in parts of Wyoming and especially Colorado, but will also include Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. The deeper monsoonal moisture is going to get concentrated in some locations, so heavy rain producing thunderstorms Friday and Saturday in particular, but they could hang on in the Sunday, especially into Colorado. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Trigger warning, that's right. I'm issuing a trigger warning. I'm just warning you that at the end of the podcast, I'm going to show you something that may be a trigger. Just having fun, folks. Don't worry about it. Now, taking a look at the high pressure ridge that's building across the Intermountain West, this is where we're going to be today. We've got a low pressure system off the west coast, up over British Columbia, but high pressure dominating most of the nation. Your satellite image looks exactly like the one I showed you yesterday. Plenty of subtropical air around with the deepest back into the Great Basin and into the southwestern United States. And there you can see it on the precipitable water forecast. Look at all that high water content air that's sitting over California and parts of the Great Basin right now. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to rain in those green and blue areas, but it means if they do get rain or they do get showers or thunderstorms, they will be rain producers in that deeper moisture. As we go forward, this is what it looks like as we get into Friday, and this is why we were talking about being concerned about the burn scars in the mountains and possible flash flooding potential. Notice we have this streak of brown up here and then the streak of wet. So basically we got dry right up against wet here, and this brown area is representing the drier air behind a cool front that's coming out of the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada. And this is something that you have to watch because what happens is that cool front pushing against that monsoonal moisture tends to concentrate it over some smaller areas, and that concentration of heavier monsoonal moisture can lead to these really heavy rain producing thunderstorms. So you can see all the blue that is moving in across the Intermountain West Friday afternoon, and this is into the day on Saturday with that brown still up to the northwest. So there's a 48-hour period there where there's a lot of water available for thunderstorms to tap into across many parts of Wyoming, Colorado, back into Utah and into the Great Basin states. But by Monday, you see the brown pushes south. That's the cool front. And then you have this concentration. This is where you watch out for flooding in these situations across parts of the eastern Corn Belt in the Midwest as the cool front brings in drier air. And basically by early next week, we cool off, but we have thunderstorm activity decrease for a day or two before there's that next resurgence. Now, ahead of all of this weather pattern change, it's going to be hot. These are temperatures compared to the 30-year average, going to be really hot. Temperatures really getting warm across the northern Rockies and northern plains, but you can see all the blue up here. That is some pretty darn cool air, really, for August. That's just poised up there in western areas of Canada. So this is for Thursday afternoon, but this is by Saturday. By Saturday, that cool air advances with that cold front, and this is by Sunday. So we're going to cool off across the Intermountain West. Gets hot again in the Pacific Northwest, although briefly. But you can see that cool front is going to come on in and really make an impact. And with that cooler air coming in and that monsoonal moisture coming up, this is for a map for Saturday afternoon. There's the cold front. The high retreats all the way off to the east coast, but the clockwise circulation still is taking that monsoonal moisture northward into the region. So we have a situation Friday and Saturday of concentrated monsoonal moisture over the central Rockies. And this is the prediction of where the lightning strikes are going to be Friday afternoon. So you can see just about all of Wyoming, eastern Idaho, Utah, into the Dakotas there, into Nebraska, New Mexico, southeastern areas of Arizona, but even looking back, look at into California here. Now, this is good news and bad news. Lightning could start more fire activity here, but some of these thunderstorms will be rain producers. So this is Friday, and then this is Saturday. So the same areas are going to be impacted, but the axis of the heavier lightning strike shifts a little bit south and east because of that cold front bearing down on the region. Temperatures and conditions with the precipitation and the cold front and the monsoon, this is through Sunday afternoon, so there's a pretty good potential of some needed rainfall coming in some areas. Trigger warning, now this is what I wanted to talk about. Now I'm just having some fun here, but it's August 3rd. Now it's still the dog days of summer as we talked about earlier in the week, but it's also the time of year when we start looking at the northern latitudes. We start to take a look further up north because hey, the days are getting shorter up there. They're getting shorter down here, but they're really getting shorter up there. And this starts to change things. And I'm not showing you anything here that is unusual in early August, but I want to show you this because I do think it may play a role as we get into early September. And that's this. This is a forecast out to 10 days. This goes into the weekend of August 13th and 14th. And what I'm showing you here is an area of high pressure building up west of the Aleutians and a pretty good trough forming here in the Northwest Territories, eastern areas of Alaska, and near the Arctic Circle area. Now, you look at the United States and we got a big high here. It's plenty warm. It's still summer. But look what happens up north. Yes, this is the snowfall forecast as we get into that 10-day period up in those higher latitudes. But look at the north slope of Alaska. Even looking at the mountains here are going to potentially get snow, even maybe the Canadian Rockies 10 days out. So we're starting to see changes. So if you're tired of the heat and there's more heat coming, well, you know what? It's really not that far down the road before we start talking about stronger cool fronts, and we're kind of seeing one of those this weekend. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the precipitation over the last 2 months, and this really shows you where the problems have been, where some areas have really benefited from the monsoon and some areas have really not. So this shows the precipitation anomaly. The green and blue means above normal precipitation for the 60-day period of June 1st through yesterday. The brown shows the deficit compared to the 30-year average with precipitation. So the browns and the reds show where the precipitation just has not been good over the last 2 months. The green and brown areas show where the precipitation's been above average. And you can see Arizona, New Mexico, boy, especially New Mexico, a large part of Colorado, the western Dakotas, and look at Montana up here in the Pacific Northwest, parts of there. But we have this area right here in central Wyoming, going back into Idaho, northwest Colorado, into the western plains here. Then look at the southern plains. Yikes, down here, a real problem. So this is how these monsoons can go. You get winners and you get losers. Hopefully, August is going to be a better month in this area. We certainly hope so. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.